Interesting article from Mint Press News written by Alan McLeod. Fire engulfed California, short on firefighters as prison slaves under COVID-19 lockdown. And subtitle: California's competing crises of climate change, COVID-19, and convict labor have emerged to create the perfect neoliberal storm. Because again, slavery was never really outlawed in the United States. Under the 13th Amendment, people in prison can be treated like slaves. Hugely disgusting and disturbing. And in its height, California's dangerous forest fire season, it is the height of California's dangerous forest fire season, but despite blazes currently raging, the state's fire department is dangerously understaffed because a lot of them are inmates, prison labor, slave labor. That is because many firefighters today are not the burly full-time professionals of another area, but underpaid convict laborers risking their life for pennies. Almost 40% of California's firefighters are prisoners, but the state's penitentiaries are themselves ablaze with COVID-19 outbreaks, leading to widespread lockdowns, which has become routine for Americans dealing with competing crises. Because again, how are you supposed to socially distance when you're locked in a cage with somebody else in very close proximity to a lot of people? It's not possible. That's why it's the prisons and jails are such a great place for COVID to spread rapidly, as we're seeing. Jails have been among the deadliest hotspots for transmission of the coronavirus. At the notorious San Quentin State Prison just north of San Francisco, there are nearly 1,400 active cases. That's in one fucking prison. Meanwhile, the state has announced the deaths from COVID-19 of 16 inmates at the California Institute for Men in Chico, San Bernardino County. In response to the crisis, prison authorities have enacted strict lockdowns, including at CCC Susanville, the home of the wildfire training program, where there are over 224 confirmed cases of the virus. This is severely hampering the fight against wildfires. Approximately 3,100 inmates worked with the fire department tackling blazes, around 2,000 in the front line and 900 in support roles. Just eating some piece here from the garden. Only those with the least serious convictions are considered. Prisoners are paid between $2.90 and $5.12 per day for literally risking their lives fighting these freaking wildfires in California. It's fucking disgusting. Less than the average income of a sweatshop laborer in Nicaragua. Obviously, those people in Nicaragua shouldn't be getting paid, those paltry wages either. Plus, 1 per hour of hazard pay during active emergency situations like the deadly fires that engulfed the state last year. They work alongside full-time firefighters, making an average of $91,000 per year before overtime pay and bonuses, but tend to do the harder, less desirable work or more dangerous tasks, leading to multiple deaths in recent years. This has led to widespread condemnation of the practice akin to modern slavery. It is, literally. I don't know how you could say it is otherwise, especially because inmates are effectively barred from even applying to the fire department once their sentences are over. That's so fucked up. In order to become a firefighter, an emergency medical technician license is required. Something that is all but impossible to achieve with a criminal record. Despite this, prisoners still volunteer as the work is far more fulfilling than the alternative, more time locked up. In practice, is a perfect neoliberal solution to the growing threat of climate change. In 2019-2020 winter was among the driest on record, with much of Northern California seeing no rain whatsoever in February, leading to forest fires far earlier than usual. Instead of wholesale changes in energy production or consumption or a great increase in professional firefighters, the state has opted to use extremely cheap prison labor to tackle the inevitable blaze. The measure allows for the government to continue cutting public service budgets while also acting as a check on wage and working condition demands from public unions. as a threat of being replaced by someone who is effectively a slave increases. There are currently 2 active fires in Morgan Hills, just south of San Jose. Local officials announced that the record 1,750 acres had been burned in total, with local evacuations starting Sunday afternoon. While the fire department said they're making good progress tackling the problem, low humidity and gusty winds made the conditions ripe for more wildfires. So it looks like here's a picture of it. Or video, I should say. Holy crap! What? Damn, look at that, dude. What happened? Wow. Massive. And again, these wildfires, these extreme weather events are going to continue getting worse, going to continue accelerating in their impact and their frequency due to climate change. I mean, Soledad Fire, LA County Fire Department, third alarm brush response, 150 acres total, 500 plus moving quickly. Let's check this out. Freeway closed both directions. Dropping some water on it or something from that helicopter. The conditions caused a separate fire burning at least 1,100 acres of land in San Clarita, just north of Los Angeles. Approximately 400 firefighters, including at least some prison laborers, attempting to confront the inferno. Meanwhile, after extinguishing a large fire in Squaw Valley near Lake Tahoe, the fire department is currently reopening roads and assessing the damage caused. Yeah, dropping P's here. Thus, due to the state's over-reliance what is effectively coerced labor, it is unable to adequately combat a perennial foe. Does that make sense to you? Thus, due to the state's over-reliance on what is effectively coerced labor, it is unable to adequately combat a perennial foe. I don't know why to use there. Like with the dysfunctional healthcare system, the coronavirus is exposing the limitations of the current system we live under. Fighting fires of prison labor, it transpires, does not work during a pandemic. Today, the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases topped 3 million in the United States, including 264,832 in California. Again, that's from Alan McLeod, Mint Press News. Get rid of the 13th Amendment. People working in prisons should not be treated like slaves, no matter what crime they committed. If they're doing work there, they deserve, at minimum, the minimum wage. And if they're out there fighting fires, risking their lives, they should frankly be, in my opinion, getting paid the same amount as those professional firefighters, for God's sakes. It's ridiculous.